Hello and welcome. This is Simply Exploring and Adventuring with Lewis. Today we're coming to you from Hopewell Furnace, National Historic Site. And today we're going to go touring the furnace as part of our a tour here, just a tour that I want to do. I've done it before, but I want to do it again. So if you don't mind, you can come along and join me. So we were just at the visitor center here. We aren't able to go inside right now because it's closed to the public temporarily until they reopen everything again. But at least most of the grounds are open and available for us. There's the restrooms and a water fountain, and then there's also a ADA accessible pathway here to get down. Now this is a pretty decent size, and as you can see, I'm gonna go around. Sorry, I thought they would have done that more at the end of the railing here, but you can pause and read that if you want to. I'll bring it up close. So this was in operation for more than 100 years. And I believe this is the trail. It takes you all the way to Valley. If you go to the left, this is the Horseshoe Trail that takes you all the way 25 miles away to Valley Forge, and Reading is only 17 miles that way. So we'll proceed down this way. I was trying to find out. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Sorry. I was trying to get rid of trash. My trash. And because it is a pretty warm day and it's a Friday, most people are still at work. I got off of work this morning, so I decided to come back over here because we were here about 2 weeks ago. My daughter and I were here camping right here at French Creek State Park, and Hopewell Furnace is part of the French Creek State Park facility, I guess you want to call it. And unfortunately, somehow I deleted the footage of the tour that I did. You know, it's a self-guided tour, so you can just go and check everything out for yourself. Unfortunately, my daughter isn't with me this time around. She is at home. And we're gonna walk up this way first, as I did before. And this is gonna probably be a pretty long video, just to let you know ahead of time. I'm sure this leads back up to the Horseshoe Trail as well, but I wanted to show you this part up here first. And then we will be heading down that way shortly. So I forgot to spray a little bit of bug spray on my face to keep the bugs away from me. Now that is a trail that continues back that way, I believe. I'm not sure if it actually connects to, it might, it looks like it should connect over to the Horseshoe if it does a little loop or not. but it is a blue trail with a yellow marker, and I believe it's an actual trail that is on here on site on the premises here. There are many trails here. I don't remember specifically which one comes right here close by, and we're gonna make a stop here. And this is there aren't any actual pictures of the original furnace here, so they provided a picture of another one in Boonton, New Jersey that was very similar to this. So if you're seeing this, you're seeing the what the furnace would have probably looked like when it was in operation. Now we are about right here, I believe. It's hard to see because of the glare. Let me see if you can see my finger. We're in this part of, we're going to be going into that part of the furnace. And as you can see, they have posted signs on around the surroundings. They don't want people climbing up and around the outside wall here, but you can certainly take a lot of pictures and walk through the other part. This, I believe, would have been, that's what they call a salamander. That's the remains once they're done with, they shut down the furnace and it creates a plug. And they call that those plugs of iron salamanders. Reason I know this is because near where I'm from in Lancaster, I've been up to Columbia to the Northwest River Trail, and the St. Charles furnace is there. It's not as intact. Well, that one's, I think, in slightly better condition if you think about it, but this is a totally different, this is an iron one. Well, this is an iron one also too, like the one in Columbia, Pennsylvania, along the Northwest River Trail up there. Northwest Lancaster County River Trail. Let me get that right. Seeing, I was videoing that part from the backside earlier, and this is where they would have poured the molten iron would have come in through here, and then they would have set up the pigs like you would have seen. You'll see in another building we're going to be going to. But I wanted to walk around like I did the last time, and you can see. I'm going to pan slowly. Now this is the remainders of the furnace, so there's not much here left, but at least we know it was here, and it was cool. And this thing is cool because it has this like inner wall here that we can actually walk through, which is what I'm doing right now. To give you an idea, I'm scraping my poor backpack here, and I'm gonna go through the other one, and again, like I did before, and then we'll go through. And like I said, we just walked from that side over there and just came around through that little chamber right there, and just came in through here, and you would just saw us there. So, and then now I'm gonna walk through the rear, and just to give you another sheer size, I'd say it's about maybe now 20-25 feet up there. And then here's another view of the wall here as we make the turn. And give you an idea. It's pretty open here. And we saw that view already, so we're just going to go back around and continue checking out the different things. Now I know they pre-COVID, they were doing demonstrations, but I think it's usually, I think on Saturdays or during the weekend, maybe Fridays and Saturdays, they would do demonstrations of certain things, like over here, where we're gonna be going close. And then we're gonna be heading, look at the foundations, and you'll see what the foundations of these buildings were shortly. As you can see, those are foundations of the old coal kilns. And then over here, it's a demonstration. They would do demonstrations. I don't recall what the I think this is just for storage right now, but it might, because it's looks like it has a more modern roof and the walls look pretty much new. It's just maybe for storage for when they do their demonstrations. But I love that sign back there, the Colliers of Hopewell Furnace, 1777. Now we're gonna go down here really quick. I have other places I want to go to also today that I have to reshoot as well. And it's hard to see because of the sun, which is, I mean, I know it's a gorgeous day. It's going to be a pretty warm, humid day. They said feel like 100. But you can pause that and read that for yourself at any time. And this basically was a charcoal pit. So they would burn, as you can see, the wood in a certain amount of piles. And obviously, they have it set up for a demonstration, possibly either today or during the weekend. And I don't remember what this little building, this little hut was. But I believe this is reconstructed of what it would have looked like. And then we're going to go inside. Come on, torch on, so you can see inside. And it kind of is reminiscent of a teepee, if you think about it, what it is. I think this is the person that tended the charcoal would stay in here and take care of the wood to make sure that it became charcoal. And as you can see, it's just nothing but trims and branches and stuff like that has been stripped of their bark, and then they've thrown on dirt and leaves and stuff like that. So I'm just going to give you a look-see around on the floor, in the floor area really quick. It's not very roomy in here, so you can see it's not very big. I mean, it's comfortable inside here, just for one or maybe even two people to sleep in if we needed to. But I think that's all it's designed for, maybe one or two people at most, and a few of their belongings. But I'm gonna crouch here in the middle of the, as I like to call it, the teepee here. I just wanted to bring you inside with me first, and give you an idea of what it looks like to walk in there. So we're just gonna, I was gonna walk around the other way, but I'm like, same difference. I don't think there's anything more over there, from my understanding. That's just another trail that goes up. That's another trail over there that goes up that way. So And here we go again by the charcoal kilns. And then we're gonna head down to this building and head down to where these wagons are. There is a bench there to sit down and enjoy. So as you can see, I was talking about that light blue with the dot under. That is there is a trail that came down this way that follows that. I can't recall what the trail name is at the moment. And pictures of the wagons. Let's see if I can get all the wagons in one shot here. And I had gotten my daughter to, and if you can see, it has actual coal up there. Well, actually, yeah, charcoal. Wagon loads of charcoal. Ah, okay. This is known as the cooling shed. So after they got the charcoal made over there, they would haul it on these cars and bring it into this building behind me, and they would cool it here. Inside this building, as you will see shortly. Sorry, I want to at least a selfie of some sort here, and we will continue walking through the wagons, the different style of wagons and types of wagons they would have used. And then we're gonna head around this side of the building here. And that very building ahead with the red roof is probably the most iconic building they use here for their promotions and stuff. And even on every website you go looking for it, that's the first thing you'll probably see. And it's sort of dark in here right now. I'm going to see if I can put the... I doubt you can see anything. But pretty much that's all it is. And then there's... I'm not sure what's going on with my camera at the moment. Okay. Wasn't wanting to focus for a little bit. Let's see if I can get them both. Okay. And the barrels. And then this is another information. You can read it. You can pause and read it for yourself. I'm going to back away and get a picture. And as you can see, there's another empty wagon now. And now we're gonna go to this part of the furnace area. The top part of the building, this part of the building. And this is pictures of the head race. That's the actual head race right there that you see. And it powers a water wheel. And if you can see this, this is the west head race. And it takes you, I don't know if there's a dam over there, Hopewell Lake, which I would like to find. And then this is the east head race, which we'll see on our way out, which we passed as we were coming in. It was in view of that one sign. There's old-fashioned wheelbarrows, and this is where they kept. Oh, so this was the coal blast charcoal furnace. And the audio is not working on this one. And there's more equipment here, and we'll get a look overhead. It's hard to, not hard to see. There's the water wheel. But I forgot to kind of look in here. We're not allowed to go in there. And you can look straight down. But it's pretty dark. And we'll see that part from downstairs once we get to that section of the tour. Now, a lot of these displays also have audio, that some of them are functioning and some of them are not functioning, and you'll be able to hear like a day in the life of a person who lived and worked here. So we are now going to continue going to the rest of the property here. Certainly more to see here. Now, we started up there. That's the actual visitor center and restroom area. And there are many ways to go down here. I think I'm going to go this way this time. Sorry, I slipped. And then come back around the other way, and then you can see those. But this is we were just in there at the far end over here of the building. That part that's sticking out. We were just in that part of the building, looking down, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm doing the tour a little bit different from what I did it with my daughter. And these are examples of some of the things that were made here, including cannons. And there's the pig iron itself. And I'm not sure what this thing is, but I think it looks so cool, along with this wall. And we're gonna go in here. There are other folks in here touring as well. Hello. This is the cast house. And this is where the pig iron was produced. They did the castings here, right in that part. And I believe we were looking straight up where we were looking straight up is in that hole over there up above. But this is how they would cast that pig iron you just saw an example of outside. And you can pause to read it for yourself. And then the guy that would get that iron flowing was called a gutter man. Interesting name for a position. And as well as not only producing pig iron, They also cast these potbelly stove parts as well. And I'm gonna step up here. These have a name. There is another display on the other side. These is how they would cast with sand and stuff like that. They would do it, an upper part and then a lower part, but we'll see that. But this is the other part of the furnace here. And here's amazing water wheel. And then this gives you an idea of how it actually works. And then you can pause and read it. That whale-like sound you hear is that big piston right there. Right there, that big piston right there. As it's pushing the air, and you see how it works, into the blowing tubs, it pushes a rod and a piston, and it acts like a bellows, basically. It's what this is the replacement of the old style bellows, like it shows right here. So this ended up replacing, and that's what provided air into the up through there. As you can see, through that pipe comes across and down into the furnace itself. Yeah. Gotta be careful with it. I almost tripped on that piece of rock or whatever it is, iron. Yeah. But it does have two of them, as you can see. And that would provide the air. That piston would provide the air up there. It's amazing how technology works and the ingenuity. Well, we saw the head race, and then this is where it empties out right here. It's hard to see from here, but it empties out over there. Let's see if I can extend my pole a little more and get a better view. So the water actually discharges through there. That's, I believe, part of the tail race. And then here's a bucket where the molten iron would be. And then here's an example of what the gutter end person would do to get that molten iron to pour down into the main one, and then off to what they call the pigs, because it resembles a mother pig with her suckling pigs. And here's some of that coal that was made over there in the building above us. Well, that was made in that ring that we saw, circular ring. Oh, then I didn't go down back this way yet. I bet you this is how it brings you to the back of it. But I wanted to show you all the different implements and molds that they would use. These are the different parts of the molds that I was talking about. And it explains over in the information board over there how it worked. And a lot of these were used mostly to cast those iron stoves, as you can see right here. That would be probably the front. This would be another part here. I'm gonna get pictures of these guys because I didn't the last time, so. And I know they've done demonstrations in the past, but due to COVID right now, with still the restrictions not quite being lifted up completely yet, A lot of our national parks and stuff would not offer this kind of stuff yet. And then there's an old, I don't know if it's an oil can or something. I didn't get a picture of that the last time either. And then there's oven, or stove, shall I say. And here's the process, what's known as flask casting. And this is what I was talking about, how they would do it in two parts to make a stove plate. This is the whole process right here. This is the whole process. So it's just basically like two boxes clamped together, and then they would make a hole in the middle. First they would make the impression of what they were casting in sand first, and then you would see the process of how they did all this. And it's incredible when you read, understand how skilled these guys were to do this. Mind you, it was not an easy job to do because it was a very hot environment. And I was looking for the name of this clamp piece right here. Is those are the clamps right there. So here's a pile of clamps that they would use to hold the two boxes together. And there were different sizes too as well. Oh wow, the old, those were the old window weights right there. They would make those too. I'm enjoying this beautiful gust of cool air before I get out. Look at a beautiful swallowtail. Yeah. Oh, before I leave, I want to go out the back because I missed something there the last time, out that back door. I know it probably just goes around the back here, but I did miss it, so I'm going to drive you crazy. I sure wish they could show actual examples, you know, actual demonstrations of, okay, here's side of the wheel. I didn't come here this side before, and there's where it exits, and it continues on underneath. So I did not see this, and I'm gonna go up a little bit up here, which I never did go the last time. And then here's the surroundings. And I'm gonna go get a view of the head race here. As you can see, it is elevated in some portions by stone. And there's a little water seeping here. I didn't get this footage the last time. Oh no, it's marshy in here. Oh no. Didn't realize it was that marshy in there. So this is about as far as we're gonna go. I just stuck and I got really far and I felt the ugh. But as we leave, you'll see the other part of the I think it's called the East Head Race. So one more look at the water wheel. Shows you how it works. And the stonework on this building. And I went out the front way. This time I'm going back the rear, which takes you to the same place, but Thankfully I got out of it quick enough where only the surface of my shoes got a little muddy here. And like I said, we were just in there a few minutes ago. And then there's this little stone bridge here. And I believe we are approaching the Blacksmith Shop. I didn't get a shot of that the last time either. So this will be all new too. And we're about to go inside the Blacksmith Shop. And this, like I said, this is the Blacksmith Shop. And you can, let's see if I can get it like this with something inside it. And all the implements. And we will have a listen.
If you're looking for Dave Jenkins, he ain't here. I'm Sam Houseman, and glad to talk blacksmithing as I sure can use a rest. Yep, the 1825 Schuylkill Canal ended wagoning to Philadelphia, but horses' shoes still wear out, and everything in and out of here is by horses. Did you hear Ben Hill rave about his horses? And horses' hooves grow. So shoes need remaking about 4 times a year. And shoes can loosen and fall off on the road, and then Sam Houseman gets called out of bed. We smiths hammer out tools for the furnace for the miners and keep them sharp, all from wrought iron. Then wood-cutting axes need to be upset, have new steel-cutting edges inserted. And we hammer out hardware for anyone. We often turn a month's pay by smithing for the neighbors. We keep the anvil clanging and the bellows wheezing. All shaping takes hammering with red-hot iron. And that iron is always tough, stringy, wrought iron, hammered out of pig iron by forges like Valley Forge. You do remember that. And Charles Brooke, partner here, operates Hibernia Forge down Brandywine, and his teams bring wagon tire and horseshoe bar here, and hauls back Hopewell pig to make more bar iron. Sure, fitting a shoe burns the horse's hoof, but it's like your fingernail. It don't hurt the horse either. And only you thinks burnt horses stinks. See that ventilator up there? Notice the knob of clay that holds the top? I tell you, standing and hammering and being at a fire and looking at red hot iron and pumping it blast all day for 12 hours ain't easy. And some horses kick, and the sparks do burn. Well, our anvil clanging tells the boss when we're working. Come again.
I love this part of the tour, that when they are functioning, you could see how interactive it becomes. I believe this is Pine Creek. I remember coming on, when I was coming up here, I crossed it over there. This might be Pine Creek right here. Oh, didn't get a shot of the... And I still got to get a shot of the building on the outside, so... And basically, give you an idea of what life is like here. And you can pause it to read that as well. But before we head over to those buildings, which I believe are the tenant houses, I'm just going to take a quick shortcut here. We did not come down this way. Ah, this is the actual Horseshoe Trail comes through here instead. Well, I'm sure it connects at some point here, because there it says Horseshoe Trail is up ahead. So it's probably where I said it was earlier, on the upper part of the property here. But I didn't go down this walkway and seeing what was back here. So I'm going to do that this time, and this is more an ADA trail. Now it says this is the Horseshoe Trail, but unfortunately it doesn't go nowhere else after this unless you stay on the property. But it does go up further that way, I believe. So and my daughter and I did not walk back here the last time. There's a remnants of something. We'll find out shortly what it is. Apparently there was a building here at one time. Oh, the schoolhouse. Oh wow, that's what she missed. That's a depiction and some of the artifacts that they actually found on this site. Wow. So they did charge for school back then. So listen up, those of you who take public school for granted, look at this. Tuition at the Hopewell School was $1.75 per quarter of each year. 2.5 cents a day. The average day's pay for a farm worker was 25 cents. Good salary. For an iron molder was $1 a day. Paper was 1 cent a sheet. Pencil was 12.5 cents. Quill, half a cent. Ink powder, 12.5 cents. So this is the remnants of the schoolhouse. So, and there is parents with their children here, and behind me. And I believe if you continue up this way, you'll end up going up on the Horseshoe Trail, which I will not at this point. But sorry for all the bugs here. The big wood forest. And it basically has these little blocks and tells you what the different woods are and what their leaves look like and different times. So it's a learning experience as well. That's fall. That's the beech seed, flower, red maple, summer leaf, yellow poplar, summer leaf, summer leaf, and the oak summer leaf. Shows you all, so it has a lot of information for kids as well as people who just want to learn in general.
That just tells you that there's reptiles and amphibians that live in this area.
And this gives you like an overview. It's a map of the actual site and all the buildings we'll be visiting as well. So we started up here on the parking lot. We came down this way, then went over to the charcoal house. We went to the cast house, the water wheel, the furnace, the blacksmith shop, and we are here right now. Oops, sorry. We're working over to the tenant houses, and then back down this way and up back to the visitor center. So we only missed one thing. So actually the Horseshoe Trail comes through here, but it gets diverted, as I was saying. So that actually is the Horseshoe Trail as it comes in through here, through Hopewell. And as you can see, it does turn and go up back toward the, excuse me, towards the actual furnace site. And then you continue on almost on that one trail that I showed at the beginning. So I'm just going to take the shortcut. And these are known as the tenant houses. And normally I don't walk. Hey, I know what I don't see here. Usually they have the sheep out. And I don't see the sheep out right now. So you might have them indoors because of the extreme heat and all that. So plus I'm sure they have people that they actually still mow the place. And we're about to enter in to one of the tenant houses and give you an idea of how they lived. That would be the stove. Yeah, the stove. Oh, it's not working today. It was working the last time. Well, last time my daughter and I were in here, we did press the button and we were able to hear a woman speak. But apparently it's not functioning again today. And this is showing you one empty. The next one we go to over there, which we'll just cut through. And this would have been their community garden here. So not only did they have to feed themselves with whatever's grown here, it also fed the main house, or the big house as it was called, as you'll hear in other presentations. And then here's our outhouse. I'll do the outhouse by itself. I believe that was a smokehouse of some sort over there at one time. But we're going to go in here. And I think that was like a meeting house over there, if I remember correctly on the map. And now we'll go into a furnished building. Love the stove. More than likely, the front plate would have been made here. Who knows? And you are allowed to touch, because these are reproductions of the actual. Some of the furniture is original, some of them is reproductions. A lot of the plates and stuff like that are, I believe, were to be reproductions. And look at the craftsmanship back then. I loved dovetail joints. And give you an idea of the books they would have read. And simple living here. Wow, look at that. They would have had a child in here in their own dolly bed. Now this one doesn't have the audio presentation like the number one would have had. And I believe this building is still closed. I don't recall, I saw it on the map, but I don't recall what the name of the building is. If I recall, I'll put it down below. So neither this one or that one are open. And there is a little bit more to walk to over there, but it's more for as an ADA trail. And it's just, if you're coming in on this end, coming in from this end, there's a parking lot up here and another sign up ahead telling you about this, about the whole facility here. So we will now walk down the main trail again. And I guess it's because of the heat of the, oh no, they are out there. Never mind. There they are. I was speaking about them, but I couldn't see them from over there yet. And the sheep are out. I know it's got to be at least in the mid 80s, but feeling like mid 90s, maybe upper 80s. I wouldn't be surprised if it's already up that point yet. Well, I arrived closer to 11:30ish this morning, so it's not a very long tour to say. I mean, as long as you want to make it, as long as you want to stay in each building and really see everything well. But the last time I came, it started out cloudy, which made it a little bit more comfortable. But by this point of the tour, when I was coming back, it got pretty warm like this too. But then my daughter and I headed over to nearby St. Peter's Village and went on French Creek itself over there and found a watering hole over there near St. Peter's Village over there. And not the drinking watering hole. More like a cooling down place. The actual creek runs through there, a whole bunch of boulders and stuff. And we got to enjoy it for a little bit. Maybe about an hour or so, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And then there's that bridge again. And I want to get the picture, that picture that everybody takes, the world famous picture. I'm going on there, and it says it's asking you not to feed the animals as well. They heard me coming, and there are the sheep. Looked like they were sheared or shorn, as they say, not too long ago. I remember when I came 2 weeks ago, they were still had a lot of hair on them. But let me get this beautiful picture here. And we will continue to the barn here. And this information board just explains more or less farming life here at Hopewell. You may pause this to read it. And the last time I was in here, it was a horse, so he might still be in here. Yep, he's still here again. Wow. Do they ever let you out, buddy? I'm wondering.
Come on in. The horses are all out working. I'm Ben Hill.
A couple of sheep
I
back
do
here
the
too as
hospital
well.
work. That is, caring for the teams and the cows. It wasn't until Brooke and Buckley hired me in 1834 that they paid someone to do just this work. 4 years before this, I worked with the horses and went to school. The Furnace paid my school tuition then, and I boarded here as I do now. There aren't many Negro boys who get to go to school. Guess I was lucky. Feeding and watering, getting the teams harnessed, cleaning the whole barn, putting the horses in their stalls at night whenever a team comes in, and unharnessing them keeps me busy. Horses need to be curried. That means brushed clean and their manes combed too. All this work helps the teamster a lot. Some help me because they like horses too. I hadn't been on the job 2 years before they gave me a raise. Starting this March, my pay is $7 a month. And since I get my board at the big house, I'm saving money too. I think I'm almost $50 a head on the books. Of course, I'm single, but I got
He actually
aim.
turned his head and looked at me
$12
today.
a month is one of the lowest pays here, but my work is important. Yes, the cows in the meadow are milked in the barn, and the milk is for the big house and me and the dozen others who eat there. But it's my horses that are really important. Everything that gets filled into that furnace there gets pulled there by horses. Some horses are hired, but my furnace teams haul most of the wood and charcoal and some of the ore, limestone, and sand. The cast house and the molders use loads of sand for pigs and stoves. Then horses haul most everything Brooke and Buckley get out of the furnace. All of the stoves, pig iron, plowshares, sash weights, and machinery castings. This my horses haul out of here at least 5 miles to the Schuylkill Canal. Before 1825, they tell me about hauling all of the 40 miles to Philadelphia. Think of that, at 12 to 15 miles a day, and to York, Pennsylvania. Well, maybe my furnace teams don't haul all the product. Some of the forgers send their own teams for pig iron, and Jacob Mott has been hauling a good many loads, but a good part goes by the horses I take care of. Then remember that most everything that gets sold over in the store at the office comes here by horse and wagon too. Where would Hopewell be without that? Why, even much of what the horses eat is wagoned in. A load of feed and flour comes here about every week from Birdsboro's mill. The hay and feed for the horses and cows are in the mows above. I throw enough hay down through the chute you see as a hole in the mow floor, back there by the window between the mangers. Then I put it into the hay rack where the horses can eat it, and I put their grain into the grain trough. Horses who work hard need plenty of oats. I take care of 24. There are 3 6-horse teams and the driving horses of Mr. Brooke and his family. I take care of visitors' horses too. That means more hay to throw, and they don't take their manure along. Even though the hired girls may help milk, remember that cows eat and make stables dirty too. Usually I have half a dozen to handle. Then often there are calves, colts, sheep, and lambs in the barn too. I don't have to worry about what to do, but I like horses. Don't you? Sorry you didn't get to see my teams, but they work 6 long days a week. Maybe another time.
Now we're going to walk up this little set of steps. And we're going to walk around So the actual rest of the farm building is closed. And this is what they refer to as the big house. So they worked here as well as lived here. And then we're going to go over to this little building here and then come around the actual big house. So it doesn't have anything marked in here. I'm not sure if it does inside as well, but you can come in with me and visit. Ah, this is the spring house. Okay. Yeah, this is the spring house. Oh my gosh, it feels so good in here.
Yes, we have to work here a lot. This is the spring cooling section, and the fireplace end is the lard kitchen. Any work needing heat, we do there. Washing, ironing clothes, boiling cider, apple butter cooking, rendering lard, water to scald hogs, melting tallow for candles and fats, regular jobs. We wash milk pails, pans, and the churn daily. And sometimes we help by milking, especially when Ben Hill is real busy. Hear that spring trickle over there? This water is cool enough to keep foods in crocks. Lids keep flies, bugs, and salamanders out. Workers in the school get drinking water here. We use it at the big house, too. When the kitchen yard runs a flood. Polly Kidd tells us the clock's 20 years old. Polly's an old maid. Most of us will work until we marry. Me, too. Oh, I'm tired already of washing someone else's dishes and having 4 bosses. Pay? We get $1 a week with board and have a bed in the attic. Sounds little compared to a teamster's $14 a month. Well, he has to keep a family house going with his pay. My dollar is free. Molders and teamsters pay $5 for a month's board in the big house. Bye, Pop. Yes, Miss Brooks, I'm coming. Bye.
And as you can see, there are birds have a nest up there. I'm not sure what kind it was. I saw it go by, but this is the kitchen here. What would be the kitchen here? I'm assuming that's like a wash rack of some sort. And they keep on flying right there. There they are. So these guys right there, as you can see them. So we're gonna make one more stop. Well, we got two more stops. As I said, we're gonna go around the big house, and then we're gonna see that building over there afterwards. And it is a pretty big building, so. And last time we were here, there was a family with their arms all around this tree, see if they could get how many of them it took to do the width of the tree here. So these are the bake ovens and the kitchen.
Hello, I'm Polly Kidd, one of Mrs. Brooks' hired girls, working with the children, housework, and laundry. Most girls work only till they marry, but I began 5 years ago. Eliza North, ironing out in the spring house, is new. Whew, those girls. Man.
There's the inside of the
What do I do?
oven.
Well, we bake, scrub, and dust endlessly. Imagine all the furnace smoke and charcoal dust. And wash dishes. We cook for the family boarders in 2 kitchens and dining rooms, but not regular hours like a decent farm. Mr. Brooks still wants every stove possible, so in winter some molders board here, and varying numbers of teamsters. Of course, lifting heavy iron and sand takes plenty of food. Oh, and do they eat bread! But I wish they'd all take the $5 a month and eat somewhere else. Mrs. Brooke tells about boarding 10 years ago when all 11 molders ate 3 meals a day, year-round, including Sundays. Whew, the dishes to wash. Mrs. Brooke might as well run a hotel, but she doesn't get paid by the meal or night, only a yearly allowance. These visiting buyers eat their meals with the Brooke family and have a clean bed any time they show up. Some don't even write ahead. These ovens? Well, a worker starts fires in them right on the brick hearth. When we girls think the oven is hot enough, we rake the coals down that hole into the ash pit. Then we test the heat with our arm in the oven and count. If we have to pull our arm out before getting to the right number, different ones for bread, pies, and cookies, well, that's too hot. But it's worse if it's too cool. Dessert is late that night because we have to refire. The Brooks like hot bread, rolls, and baked desserts, and they eat plenty of mine. Everything goes in and out on this long-handled paddle peel. Oh, excuse me. Have to get this bread out now.
And we're at that's the back of the house and the lower part of the house. Which is closed for now. But you can see over here. Not sure if there's anything to see inside the buildings anymore. Oh, there's some stuff for display, but I don't know if the glass will let us see anything. Okay, I can see some stuff. The porch here. So I'm going to that upper. Join me as we go up the steps. And it is cordoned off for now. Wow. I'm glad that places like this are still being kept alive. To show you what life would have been like in those days. Kids have no idea today how hard work really is. And I'm going to go to that building before coming over this way again. Ooh, I gotta see inside. I can't see a thing. Hopefully you did. And, ooh. This reminds me of another place. Of course, these are always known as the ironmaster's house. So I'm just going to give you a view. I'm sitting here on the porch. Then we're going to go visit this little building over here. Then we're heading back up toward the rear. Sounded like somebody was open. It was open. Weird. Nope. It might have been another visitor just talking around and asking the person to wait for them. And I know I should have just stopped here really quick before I went down the steps because I was coming up that way anyway. But this is the office and store in Buckley and Brook. I'm assuming the bigger part is the store, and then the red part is the office. And it gives you an idea. If it were open today, this is what it would look like inside. And it looks like they weren't overcharging them. Sometimes I know these company stores were notorious for that, but it looks like they would charge them whatever the going rate was around local stores as well. And it is the ironmasters mansion, or known as the big house. You can pause that to read it. So it was the furnace company managers who would live in here. So we're going to walk right back and up this pathway here and up these stairs to the back of the visitor center here. But we're going to make a quick pit stop into the ironmaster's garden. Now we're going over the little bridge here. Walk over. I didn't go straight through because I saw this trench and I was like, I really don't want to go in there, in that trench. But we are allowed, back up a little bit. We are allowed to go into the gardens. Okay, had to push in a little bit. And as you can see, they had the garden set up in a certain way. For apothecary, culinary, this is more culinary. Beverages, so these plants, they were able to turn them into like teas, and there's all types of mints in there. And these were for household use, more culinary. So that was a quick tour of the garden, the Ironmaster's garden. Sorry. And there's some ruins over here. I'm not sure what they are. I didn't see anything on the map that I looked carefully about for to let me know what these ruins are. But I'm sure it has to do with something here. This is probably another building. And I'm going to get him both at an angle here. That way I'm not. See if I can get them both now. Okay. Now I can get them. And then I'm taking the shortcut. Not going up the stairs. I don't know if this was added or this was original to the site. The stonework here suggests original, but the what do you call it? The walkways suggests older. I mean newer. Sorry. And then trees are losing their bark here. And there's the old window sash weights being repurposed in a different way anymore. Watch. That's why. So they are historic because they are original to the house. And then we will head back to the beginning here and conclude our tour. Hello.
How are you?
All right. I'm standing off site a little bit away from Hopewell Furnace, but as you can see over there behind this gentleman farming and making little bales, that wall that you see it going across all the way over there is the east head race, and there's a little sign over here on this big tree coming up ahead. Just right up ahead there is the entrance to Hopewell Furnace. As you can see the sign over there, and clearly the big sign on Chestnut here in Hopewell Road. But I'm going to go right here and excuse me. Here's the, as you can see up ahead there, that little tiny wall that goes along the wall there. Goes along there, right there, and follows along. Continues across the road there, underneath the road, and on over onto the Hopewell property. As you can see behind this other home here, this other house. I'm not sure what this house is or what the significance is of the property. I never did investigate that. But you can see that there's an upper wall, as you can see, and then there's a slightly lower wall, but that's a retaining wall. But the upper wall is the actual east head race that continues on to the water wheel. And I'm going to bring you close up. Okay, I am standing right here where this arrow is at. So this is where the sign is at, looking up that way, as I said. And then the creek continues on that way, and the head race goes there, crosses over. You would enter here on Bird Lane on the other side of the road to go to the visitor center, mark Bird Lane, and then that is the Shed Road, I believe. Yeah, that's Shed Road. Then there's another road called Park Road that takes you down to the rest of French Creek. So it reads, look around, imagine mostly barren hills or surrounding belching, smelly, gritty furnace stack that operate 20 hours a day to produce pig iron, cooking wares, stoves, and cannon. That was the view when Hopewell transformed raw material into iron. During its operation from 1771 to 1883, the furnace company employed up to 250 people who needed food, clothing, and shelter. The furnace itself was a living machine fueled by charcoal that melted iron ore and limestone. The iron ore was dug from open pits and shafts. Limestone was used as flux to extract the ore impurities that later discarded as slag. And unfortunately, this thing has got so much stuff on it, it's hard to read. It's called the rest of that is called Baptism Creek, I believe. The East Head Race. Hopewell workers under the direction of owner Mark Bird built the furnace, barns, houses, and raceway you see in front of you. This 1.2-mile ditch was dug to collect water from nearby springs and small streams and Baptism Creek to power the blast furnace's water wheel and bellows. The circa 1771 head race no longer runs, but the 1,800-foot-long, 8-inch to 6-foot-high restored dry stone retaining wall built to protect the waterway from erosion remains highly visible. A west head race supplemented the furnace's water needs. So not only did it have an east, it also had a west. And I believe that's the one that is past the oh wow. Oh, and it emptied out to the Hopewell Lake. Over there by the Tenant Houses, sorry. Now, so I will bid you adieu from here, from Hopewell Furnace Historic Area. And if you want to see more content like this, sorry, my sweat is getting right in my eyes. Consider hitting that notification bell, like, share, subscribe, comment, you know, whatever you have to do to stay notified of future episodes or future adventures of mine. Till then, I'll see you again. Bye.